Osbourne.
Ozzy, what's your son's name?
Jack.
Hey, Jack. How you doing? Nice to see you.
You too.
How cool is it having Ozzy as a dad?
Very cool.
I don't know, and it was a real battle. I would never have bitten into it.
Ozzy Osbourne.
When Jack Osbourne finally stepped into the public eye for the very first time after Ozzy's death, everyone expected tears, silence, or maybe even an official statement. But what nobody expected, what nobody could have predicted, was a shirt.
He was recently spotted shopping in L.A. wearing a Black Sabbath shirt. Not just any shirt, but one featuring his father on the iconic cover of the band's 1970 self-titled debut album.
That single black cotton shirt with his father's face screaming across it. And yet, before you dismiss it as just a shirt, let me warn you, there's more to it than meets the eye, because hidden in that shirt is a story that stretches back decades into Jack's complicated childhood.
Time has come to say goodbye.
And by the time you see the detail on the back of that shirt, you'll understand why fans cried, why critics complained, and why whispers inside the Osbourne family suggest this was no simple wardrobe choice at all.
You have to take your glasses off.
But let's not jump too fast. During the height of the Osbournes reality show, Jack was portrayed as the troubled teen, the wild card, the one who spiraled. He battled addiction, depression, and constant ridicule in the press. And even though he's since rebuilt himself into a responsible father and TV personality, that stigma never truly disappeared.
Hi. Here we go. Stop trying to kill your sister. Hi. I'm Ozzy Osbourne. It's good to be back here again.
So when Ozzy passed, Jack knew his very first appearance would define the narrative. Would he look broken? Would he look angry? Would he say the right words? Or worse, would he say nothing at all? This is where the shirt enters. Because instead of a polished suit, instead of a carefully written speech, Jack chose a silent visual declaration. But here's where it gets interesting. Fans immediately connected the shirt to a very specific tour, Ozzy's 1995 Retirement Sucks run, where he first with a phrase, "See you on the other side." Now pause for a second. Imagine the symbolism. Ozzy joking back in the 90s about retiring, wearing the same imagery his son now wears to grieve his actual death. That's not coincidence. That's heritage. And for Jack, it was more than a tribute. It was a way of saying, I know the story, I've lived the story, and I'll carry the story. And yet, this shirt sparked whispers even within the family. But before we uncover the most shocking detail, the lyric hidden on the back, let's pause for a payoff. Fans weren't just emotional. They were organized. Within hours, photos of Jack in the shirt went viral, sparking petitions to re-release the design for charity. This moment also reignited an old wound.
Ozzy, what do you do when you are home? Do you try to be like the time that you do spend at home? Do you really try like to participate? Do you go to PTA meetings? Do you meet the teachers? Do you?
The thing is, it's very difficult being like a telephone father because.
Yeah.
Gene Simmons was in his home when the call came. He didn't answer at first. The phone rang and rang, but he was staring at a black and white photo of him and Ozzy backstage in the 70s. Young, wild, unshaven, hair long and untamed, laughter in their eyes, chaos in their hands.
We're laid up for like 6 years. And it's so, you've got no idea how I feel.
And then the words hit him. Ozzy's dead. For a moment, he couldn't breathe. He dropped the phone. It bounced softly on the hardwood floor. The sound felt loud in the empty room. Dead. The word echoed in his head. Dead. It didn't belong to Ozzy. Not him. Not the man who had survived overdoses, broken bones, and more hospital trips than most people have hot dinners. Not the man who bit a bat on stage and lived to laugh about it.
Talking with the one and only Ozzy Osbourne. Good evening, Ozzy.
What?
Good evening, Ozzy.
Hello there.
How are you?
Fine. I thought it was one of these rubber bats. I picked it up and it was a real bat. You know?
Was it alive?
Well, it was till I bit the head of it, you know. The taste of bats is very salty. Tastes like salt.
Tastes like anything else?
Well, yes, but I can't really say that on the air, can I?
When Jack Osbourne stepped out in that now iconic Ozzy shirt, the world stopped for a moment. Not because of gossip, not because of controversy, but because fans everywhere saw something profoundly moving. A son carrying his father's memory in the most authentic way possible. This wasn't a fashion choice. It wasn't a stage moment. It was Jack letting the world know that his dad, the man who raised him, the man who was larger than life, was still walking beside him.
You have to take your glasses off. So that...
I need a mirror.
You go 10 times and it's my turn.
Very funny.
And fans immediately understood. The reaction was overwhelming. From Birmingham, where Ozzy first carved his name into rock history, to Los Angeles, where the Osbourne family built their second home. Fans lit candles, shared stories, and reposted that image of Jack as if it were a sacred symbol. People wrote, "When I saw Jack wearing Ozzy's shirt, I felt like Ozzy was still with us." Others commented, "This is how you honor a legend, through love, through family, through memory." And if there's one thing people recognize, it's that the Osbournes have always shared their lives with us. The highs, the chaos, the laughter, and even the darkest times.
Why are you crying right now?
Because it just means so much to him what he does. He loves to perform. It is the air that he breathes. And this is the longest he's ever been home. And it's time for him to get back on the road because he's driving me mad. So he really needs to get back out there. He really does.
I just can't wait to get well and have to go on the road again. That's what's killing me. I need it, you know. That's my drug today.
From the early days of the Osbournes reality show, fans fell in love not just with Ozzy the rock star, but with Ozzy the dad, Sharon the protective mother, and Jack the son who was finding his way in the world. They weren't polished or scripted. They were real. And now, in grief, they are just as real as they've ever been. Sharon Osbourne, who has stood by Ozzy through every storm imaginable, has shown fans the deepest kind of love that doesn't fade when the music stops. Every word she's spoken since his passing has reminded people that Ozzy wasn't just a prince of darkness. He was a husband who adored his wife, a father who cared for his children, and a man who always found a way to laugh, even in the toughest moments.
On the plane, Ozzy is so drunk. He's so drunk. So we're in the back there, and he's at the lavatory mid plane, and it's someone else is in there, and he's like, Share, and she like, oh, Ozzy, and he pees his pants right there in the aisle. I'm like, holy crap! Ozzy peed his pants. Sharon. So this was a wild trip. To have this concert, and the kids they went nuts. Of all the bands, Bon Jovi, Motley Crue, Ozzy. They all knew Ozzy. They were all singing phonetically. They Christ is high. They didn't know the words, but the Crazy Train kind of came out of their mouth.
Fans have rallied around Sharon, sending messages of strength, sharing old interviews, and reminding her that she's not alone. "You gave us Ozzy," one fan wrote. "Now we give your love back." Jack, too, has become a figure of admiration. People see him now not as a rebellious teenager from the MTV days, but as a strong man who carries his father's legacy with dignity. His choice to wear Ozzy's shirt wasn't just a tribute. It was a promise that the Osbourne name, the spirit, and the music will live on.
If you're not into Ozzy's music, you won't understand what Ozzy's about. He makes it sound like it's a black mass.
Fans see in Jack a bridge between generations. They write things like, "Jack is a reflection of Ozzy's soul. Seeing him reminds us of everything we loved about his dad." And then there's a bond between Sharon and Jack, something that fans have found especially comforting. Their closeness in this time of grief shows the power of family. At memorials, fans have noticed how they lean on each other, how they protect one another from the crushing weight of loss. It's a reminder that while Ozzy's voice may be silent, the Osbourne family's unity speaks louder than ever. For fans, this is more than celebrity news. It's personal. People grew up with Ozzy's music. They grew up with the Osbournes on TV. They laughed with them, they cried with them, and now they mourn with them. But more importantly, they celebrate with them. Because as Sharon once said in an interview, Ozzy never wanted sadness to be his legacy. He wanted people to laugh, to sing, to remember the madness and the magic. And that's exactly what's happening. Tribute concerts are being organized across the globe. Fans in Birmingham gathered outside landmarks tied to Black Sabbath, singing Paranoid into the night air. In Los Angeles, murals of Ozzy have popped up on walls, painted by artists who grew up idolizing him.
like 19,000 people. You smell the WD-40. That's how they got the last 1,000 people in. Are you kidding? He said, I'm always worried that no one's going to show up. I said, when was that ever been your problem? He said, well, never, but...
Who is this?
Ozzy.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, who's just one of my favorite people. He's another guy.
Is anyone out
He's
there?
honest.
How many people?
Hey, there's anyone out there, man? And I said, are you kidding?
Online, hashtags like hashtag Forever Ozzy and hashtag The Prince Lives on trend as fans share memories, concert footage, and heartfelt messages. Jack and Sharon have seen these tributes, and it means the world to them. Jack said recently on a podcast, it's overwhelming, honestly, to know that so many people love my dad the way we loved him. It's the greatest gift we could ask for. And Sharon, ever eloquent, told a British paper, he gave his life to music, and music gave him back a family that stretched across the world. That's what he wanted. For fans, that's the comfort. That's the truth. Ozzy isn't gone. He lives in Jack's tribute shirt. He lives in Sharon's undying love. He lives in every note blasted from car speakers.
Says, can I get you a drink? And he says, yeah, I'll have a bottle of wine. So she pours him a glass, and he puts the glass down, and he takes the bottle. He doesn't want the glass, he wants the bottle. And he drinks the entire freaking bottle like it was just an Avion bottle of water or something. He starts to drink it, and he's drinking it, and he starts to get lower and lower and lower in the chair, until finally he was just happy.
And as the Osbournes step into this new chapter, one thing is certain. They are not alone. Their grief is shared, their love is echoed, and their
To a
legacy
trembling
is
voice,
eternal.
but with the kind...
Because Ozzy Osbourne may have left the stage, but his spirit will never stop singing.